In today's video, we'll teach you 3 drills that you can use to improve your dribbling speed. And it's that simple like that, so let's go. So the first drill is designed to practice maneuvering the ball and switching it out of the defender's reach while still running at speed. Basically, you have 2 cones here at the end, 4 cones in the middle, and the idea is that you run at a decent pace from one cone. When you reach the 4 cones in the middle, you then shift the ball out through one of the gates to either side, basically to practice getting it out of the defender's reach while you still maintain that high speed. Then you basically go down around the other cone and come back. That's 1 round. It might sound a bit tricky here, but the key is, of course, to practice your ball control, but also to get on your toes, which makes you more agile and gives you that ability to just whoop, whoop, weave through the cones and keep running. And then it's all a matter of practicing. So when the defender finally comes up to you, pops out of nowhere, you can just whoop, quickly skip around them and continue doing your thing. And hopefully, with time, you'll feel a bit more natural. Now the second drill here is centered around acceleration and deceleration. Because I know that going flat out and just sprinting all the time sounds super fun, but it's really tough. And also, it doesn't really work that well. In fact, what really beats defenders is that change of pace, that acceleration. So if you can make sure to practice that you slow down when you face the defenders, and then you can explode away, that will help you a lot. So the drill here is designed that you start by sprinting up to the first cone, then you slow down, weave your way around the cones, then you sprint up to the second cone, weave around, sprint over to the third cone, weave around, and then maybe finish off with a sprint if you still feel like it. What's really important though here is that you make sure to emphasize that change of pace. Full speed, full speed, but also that when you go full speed, you only go at such a high speed that you can still control the ball. Because you might be fast, but if you lose the ball, it doesn't matter. And guys, the final drill is something we can call the zigzag pace monster drill, I guess, which is where you really get to open up and sprint, okay? Here we have 4 cones in a row that you basically zigzag through while you run at the highest speed possible you can while still maintaining good control over the ball. Down at the end, you slow down a bit, you turn, and then you run into this, should we call it sprint lane, whatever, where you basically have to get from one end to the other as fast as possible, while still, of course, keeping control of the ball. And the trick here is to take longer touches and also longer steps to make you get from point A to point B a lot faster, while, of course, keeping the ball at a reasonable distance. That's the key. Because, guys, you might be going a little slower than you'd like at first, but this is where the improvement lies, or the room for improvement. Because once your control is good enough at the speed you can do, then you can increase the speed a little bit, and then a little bit, and a little bit, until you can unleash the pace monster that you have inside. And that's where the improvement is, guys. Slow, but steady. But guys, if you really want to improve, there are also some things you can force yourself to focus on when you do them to get that little extra something on top, right? And the first thing is that you should try and lift your head a little bit when you dribble. So instead of just looking straight down at the ball, try to look a little bit up so you can see both the ball, but also what's going on in front of you and see what you should potentially react to. The second thing you should try and focus on is this whole slow change of pace concept we've talked about. When you face the defender, slow down a little bit so you can have that explosion at maximum effect. Another thing I want you to focus on, we just talked about it, but that's your stride. So take a lot of little touches and small steps where you're in tight spaces, and then longer touches and longer, fewer steps when you have a bit of space to run into. Another thing you should also try and remember, maybe it'll come automatically, but try to bend down in your knees, get up on your toes, because that lowers your center of gravity, makes you a bit more agile for when you have to weave through defenders and accelerate at the spot. And finally, and I know there's a lot of things, but finally, try to use the outside of your foot when you dribble, because that is a little bit faster. You can mix it up. Try to use it. So there you have them, my friends. 3 drills that you can use to improve your dribbling speed and also your control, of course, while you dribble at speed. But the big question that I always ask you is, What do you guys want us to teach you next? Let me know as always in the comment section right down below. Remember to subscribe to the channel, of course, if you haven't already done so. And then also consider to head over to unisportstore.com via the link right over there if you want to buy the new materials, which I understand because they're kind of awesome. And finally, of course, remember the playlist right down there if you want to learn even more cool football skills. And with those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.